Hello, hello, hello. It is day 4. Before I get started, I am just interested in just pulling up something really fast. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What time is it, y'all? It is 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Today we are on day 4. We only got one more day of this challenge. Day 4 of the Progress Push Discipline Challenge. So, again, welcome to the Wisdom Fountain. I am Tiffany Rochelle, the behind the scene queen and the founder and creator of the Wisdom Fountain, a place for leaders to be rejuvenated and to be pushed um, to their next grade. So, if you have been with me this week, I appreciate you greatly. I thank you. If you're watching this on replay, I thank you for joining then. I hope that the information that you get this week will help you get some things established and get things in place that will push you toward achieving the goals that you set for yourself, for your ministry, for your purpose, for your family, for your life. Um, so yesterday was really interesting. If you saw the recording, it was a perfect teachable moment about how often we have to readjust ourselves, and that when we lay down plans and we think of things and we put them in place, that they don't always work out about the way we're planned. We get distracted, we have interruptions, we have all kind of things that goes on. Yet in order to come through it, remaining calm and reestablishing what we are doing and what we're doing it for will help us to get back into place. So I'm going to do a quick recap. I believe the first day of the discipline challenge was about reflection, identifying what the goals are that you set. And then we moved into evaluating those goals. Yesterday, it was about prioritizing what we have and deciding what needs to go first, how we need to implement it, what ways that we can respond to what is happening to us, with us, in us, and around us in order for us to have the greatest results. So today, I think I left you all with yesterday with execute or exchange. Are you going to keep what you have, or are you going to get rid of any of those things? And so today we get to implement, and sorry, I'm looking at my notes. We get to implement what we have going on. So, did you refocus? I asked you to write down the goals that you had set, to evaluate where you are with them, what you've actually gotten finished, and what you still need to do to achieve what it is that you're looking to achieve. It's always important to have a audit, to have a honest evaluation of what you have. We have a lot of, oh, I'm going to do this one day, and we have set some things in just because we haven't executed them perfectly, or we don't have all the steps. Sometimes we determine that, oh, it's not a realistic goal, and that's not always true. Sometimes our realistic goals are comfortable goals. Our realistic goals can be comfortable goals. In the things that we set, it should be a stretch. We should always be being stretched, not stressed. Not stressed, but you should be being stretched by the goals that you set, because our effort in anything should be to grow. Your reason for doing what you're doing can be many. But out of all of the reasons, one very important one is you should be desiring to grow. So if you are facing a challenge, if you're facing a goal, if you're facing something right now and you feel stretched, you feel that it's beyond your normal capacity, that's a good thing. It's okay. That means it's something that's designed to grow you and pull you forward. And let's be honest, most of us don't like to feel uncomfortable. So sometimes it's easy for us to quit what it is that we have been assigned to do, what we've taken on, because we don't like the discomfort of the stretch. We don't like the discomfort of the growth. Well, in order for us to make it through to the end of the year, to the end of the 6 months, to the end of the quarter, we need to stretch ourselves to go beyond. Because again, if you are not being stretched, look, I said stress. Now I'm stuck on stress. If you are not being stretched in some area of your life at this point, you may be stagnant. You may be too comfortable with what you have. You may be too comfortable with where you are. So that brings me to our first step for today. Refocus. Refocus on what is important now. What is important to you right now? What is important to attaining or achieving your goal or your milestone right now? Today. If you couldn't do any other thing, if there was no other steps, what is the most important thing right now? I get it. You want to build a website. I'm going to use that as an example. You want to build a website and you want people to be able to see your website, but you haven't structured your business. You haven't decided what product you're going to sell or how you're going to sell it. You haven't decided who your audience is. You haven't decided how much you're going to charge. You haven't decided a whole lot of things, but you think you need to get a website done, but that's not what's important right now. So today, refocus. What's important right now to get to where it is that you're trying to go? What's important right now to help you achieve and attain the goal that you set? Put your eyes back on the prize. I'm going to keep going over this part. Many of us start something and we stop. And yesterday I spoke very clearly that just because you haven't done it perfectly doesn't mean that it can't be done. Just because you're not doing it perfectly doesn't mean that you failed. Just because it's not being performed perfectly doesn't mean that you should give up. And I use the example of trying to fast. Many of us fail the first time we try to fast, or even the second time. We start out, we say, I'm not going to eat all day Monday. And the next thing you know, we forgot and we picked up a cracker, or we picked up a chip. And then we say, oh no, I failed. I can't do it. I told you fasting wasn't for me. See, I told you I couldn't do it. No, it just means dust yourself off and try again. That's the first day. Aaliyah song, dust yourself off and try again. So bring yourself back into, let's focus on what the prize is. What's the priority? What is the goal that we are looking to get to? Done is better than perfect. Yes, I love that. Done is better than perfect, Esty, because a lot of us have perfectionist tendencies and we have falsely been instilled with that idea that if something is done perfectly, then that's the only way to do it. First of all, how do you get to perfect? I thought practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes perfect. So if you're not practicing, how will you ever get to a perfection? And then just a free tidbit, there is no perfection. There is no perfection. Perfectly done for you, perfectly done for the time, but there's always going to be a room for improvement. So done is better than perfect, but practice makes perfect. So let's get to it, right? Put your eyes back on the prize. Hello, welcome. Put your eyes back on the prize. Audit what has been distracting you, right? Take an account. What has been distracting you? What has interrupted you? What has challenged you? What has been an obstacle? For many of us, money is always an obstacle. Money has always been an obstacle. Money has always been a challenge. But I'm here to tell you there's a lot of things that you can get done without having physical finances. And from this day forward, if you didn't know now, understand not having money should no longer be the cause for you not to reach what you need to reach. There's bartering, there's a lot of different ways to get to what you want to do. Calling friends, some of us won't even call the friends that we have around us because we're afraid to look weak. We don't want to ask for help. We've already told them that we got this and that we have a perfection thing, so we're afraid to ask for help. How many of you have experienced that? You have something that needs to get done. You have people around you who quite possibly could help you and would help you, but you're too afraid to be vulnerable. You don't want to be beholden to somebody. You don't want to ask somebody for help. And then how dare they possibly turn around and say to you, remember that time I helped you? Remember that time you needed some money and I gave it to you? Now, I can't promise that those people won't do that. I can't promise that the people around you don't have those kinds of attitudes or ideas. However, you may not even know that, and you may just be making an assumption, and you may be holding yourself in space and in a place held up because you're too ashamed, too proud to ask. And then some of us don't know how to ask for help because we are the ones with all the answers. I know I've been that person. I was just used to getting things done. I'm a firstborn. There were no options when I was growing up. I'm the firstborn. I was the one who had to come up with a solution if my parents weren't around. So what happened is I learned to operate as if nobody would or could help me. And I didn't even realize that this was something that was hindering me in my progress. Because let me tell you what, I would ask for help from my friends or for other people I knew or for worthy causes, for organizations at the drop of a dime without hesitation. And I know and have known a lot of people across a lot of industries with a lot of different resources, people from actors to models to millionaires. I've known them, movie producers, TV producers. And if you called me up and said, hey, I'm looking for somebody who could possibly do a project. Oh, I would have the answer. I would know. And I would call these people. Hey, I got a good friend who needs some help. Can I give them your number? Can you help them? Right? But me over here with a bazillion ideas couldn't call that same friend, that same person, and ask for myself. Have you ever experienced that or felt that? These are things that can be disruptions and interruptions to your moving forward. So while you're refocusing on where it is that you're looking to go, what it is you're looking to focus on, I want you to also um, readjust your mindset in terms of where you can get your help, where your resources actually lie, because most of the resources that you need really aren't about money. They're about opening your mouth and asking for the help. And I will tell you, being able to receive is no joke. I had to go on a journey of learning to receive. And the funny thing is, I didn't think I had a receiving problem. I didn't think I had a receiving problem because what my receiving looked like, it wasn't based on I don't want people holding things over me. It wasn't based on I don't want to look weak. It wasn't based on any of that. What my receiving issue was based on was I had been self-sufficient. I was the one who had the answers. So I'm the person who would be like, no, don't make a fuss. Don't worry about it. I can do it. I didn't want to put people out. I didn't want to put people out. And so it became almost an apologetic space for taking up the space. I don't know if my friend is on here or if she'll be on here, but my biggest lesson learned about receiving was taught to me in South Africa when I went and I was serving and doing leadership training and work over there. My dear friend now was told by God to serve me. I didn't know it. She didn't tell me. But when I stayed at her house, the way he trained me to receive was by her being hospitable to me. And when I tell you, it was one of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life, because this is what it looked like. I would sleep in a room. They had given me a room to myself, and I had my bed. And when I would wake up in the morning, they would come and bring me breakfast in bed, and I'd be like, no, it's okay, it's okay. And then if I got up to go get myself together, to dress, to go to the bathroom and shower, by the time I came out of the shower, the bed was made. My clothes were organized and arranged. And I was like, it's like it almost short circuited me. It almost short circuited me because I felt, no, don't serve me. No, don't make a fuss over me. Don't do too much. I'll handle it. I don't want you to be uncomfortable to make me comfortable. How many of you can resonate with that feeling? How many of you can resonate with that, just that understanding, because you don't want to bother people. You don't want other people to be uncomfortable on your behalf because you assume that it's uncomfortable. When I tell you what that looked like, to the point where I would get up, and because I knew that they were going to come and make my bed up, I would make my bed up before I went into the shower. And when I come back out of the room, they'd be looking at me and she'd unmake my bed and remake it for me. Like, no, you're going to receive this. You're going to receive this care. You're going to receive this comfort. And some of us don't even understand that the first place that we need to learn about receiving, in order for us to receive the promises of the abundance, the promise of wealth, the promise of land, the promise of business, the promise of love and family, for us to receive any of that, we first have to learn to receive care. And I think that's the funniest thing, that I had that lesson, because one time I had a client who was looking for a mate. They wanted a date. And one of the exercises I did was, we were eating. I said, I'm going to make your plate for you. What do you want? I'm going to serve you. I'm going to make a plate of food for you. This person could not handle me even serving them a plate of food. I said, you want a husband, but you can't even receive a plate of food. How will you ever receive love? How will you ever receive the gifts of romance, the gifts of another person caring for you, if you can't even receive a plate of food from me? Funny, I taught that lesson to her, but it was also a lesson that I had to learn myself in a different way, on a different scale. And that even went into worthiness. I've never felt that I wasn't worthy. I just was used to people not making a fuss. So I never felt like I wasn't worthy of love. I didn't feel like I didn't deserve it. But my mind had crossed wires that just said, like, don't, like, if you could do it yourself, just do it. Don't put people out. Don't make them uncomfortable. Don't make them do things. Right? In order for us to reach these goals that we're looking for, I'm telling you now, you will need to implement receiving. You need to be able to receive. Whatever form your help will come by. Because let me tell you this too. I guess this is where I'm gonna be at right now for today. Okay. This is what needs to come out today. Many of us are praying, asking for help. And God is sending it to us, but we refuse to pick it up because it makes us feel like we're weak. But you ask for help. What do you think help is supposed to look like? A lot of us want the finger to be snapped and for our help to look like we're able to do it all. Our help, us being helped by some of us looks like nobody else is around and we're completely self-sufficient. We have all the answers, all the money, all the time, everything, all the resources, and we don't need anybody else to come in and swoop in and do anything for us. Well, I want to tell you that's not how God works. That's how man works. And it's very selfish of us to not receive. It's very selfish of us to not receive. And one of the things that we say, some of us say, but we don't fully understand, is that when we don't receive help, we're not just hindering ourselves. Some people have been assigned to you. Some people have been their destinies have been tied to yours, and it is a mandate for them to help you. They're your helpmates. Every helpmate is not a spouse. You have destiny helpers that are waiting. They're waiting in the wings to help you to be successful at these tasks that you're taking on. But because you're too stubborn, too prideful, too scared to allow somebody else's hand to touch what you have, you're interrupting their destinies. You're blocking their blessings because their blessing is tied to their ability to give. So imagine this scenario. Somebody is got a message that says, hey, I'm going to use you, Esty, because you're here. Thank you, honey, for being it. Somebody says, hey, not somebody. Holy Spirit, God tells a person, go give Esty $100. Right? This person says, hey, okay, Esty, I have $100 for you. You say, I don't want to owe you $100. They're like, no strings attached. And you say, no, it's all right. Thank you so much, but I don't, no. Now, here's what's happened. This person is being trained in giving, in hospitality, in caring. But now you've shut them down and they're going, see, I know I'm out here looking like a fool trying to help and do stuff. I'm not doing that ever again because I'm embarrassed. Now you were supposed to receive that help, but that help was more for them because they were being obedient. I hope this is making sense to you what I'm saying. They were being obedient and they were being trained to give, to take care of things, to do, because that's their purpose. That's their assignment, their calling. But now you've shunned them and made them feel away. And look at that. And I know this may sound like a funny scenario, but it happens every day. It's happened every day in our churches. It's happened every day in our synagogues. It's happened every day in our temples, in these places where there are older people or leaders who are supposed to share their knowledge and who are supposed to develop the people with them and help them to grow. But instead, they've shut them down. And because this person has authority or wisdom, now this person who's tied to their destiny has been shut up and feels like, oh, no, I was wrong. I heard wrong. I didn't hear right. Let me not do that again. And this is literally how it works. This is how it works. This is funny because this wasn't even on my agenda to talk about today, but here we are. We are coming into a season of achieving these goals, right? We're on the doorstep. We've crossed the threshold. We're receiving these promises of land, receiving these promises of businesses that we've been working on. We've been receiving these promises of contracts, but we don't know how to receive. Because we think that receiving means it's all given to us instead of God giving it to people around us in order for us to come together and work together and grow together and to help each other. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yes, please call me after this, Esty. Yes. Audit what has been distracting you, and then readjust and recalibrate what it is that you need to do, what you need to receive, how you need to receive it, and adjust your mindset. Be really clear. Are you being stubborn? Are you the hindrance to your own success because you refuse to receive the help that you need to get there? And all of us need help to get there. No man is an island. All of us need help to get to where we're going. I know I do. And God has shown me in many different ways how to receive help. Sometimes help I didn't know I needed. Sometimes help I didn't know was sitting right there. And one of the things that has been my experience too is, for me, now this is me, this is not everybody, but this is me. My experience is that most often I serve my help first. I'm a servant leader. There are people in my life who I've trained, who I've helped to understand and explore their gifts, to get clear on their identity, that have to help them step into the purpose that they've been designed for. And then afterward, I had to trust what I saw in them, what I was allowed to see in them, and what I was helping them to train for. I had to turn around and trust and allow them to apply it to me in my life. And this is another thing as leaders. We should always be students. Always be students and always be willing to learn from any source. There's been a hang up in generations prior where if I trained you, then there's nothing you could possibly say to me. And this is a fallacy. This is a very, very big shortcoming. This is something that is a hindrance to many leaders, because instead of understanding that the people that they trained have their own unique gifts and own unique calling, they're trying to hold them in a box. They're trying to suppress them and oppress them because they're telling them, well, I have 10,000 hours and I have 20 years in this. What do you know? How many of us have heard that, seen that? It happens every day. Me as a leader, I'm always waiting for my students to become my teachers, to become my advisors, to become my confidants. So as you are getting clear about your goals and your purpose, make sure that your destiny helpers, they're around you. They may be the people that you're training. They may be the people that you're helping to open up in certain spaces, they're helping to heal in certain spaces so that they can fully become who they are and turn back around and pour back into you and give to you something that you didn't even know that you needed. Being able to recalibrate what you need and readjust how you see the things and refocus to get back into the correct priority is going to be the help that you need. And then I have a question, right? Maybe you were distracted. Maybe you were deterred, right? Maybe you weren't. Maybe you achieved something, but you settled. Did you stop too soon? Did you stop too soon? Meaning, you wanted something here, but you got something here, and you stopped right here and became content because you're too afraid that you won't actually get this. Right? I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it again. You're looking to reach or achieve a goal or receive something here, but you got something right here. And instead of continuing, you decide to stay and sit comfortably here because you're too afraid you won't make it here or you won't receive what's here. Is that you? It could be any of us. It could be any of us, especially if we've been fighting and working toward things for a long time. Sometimes because we've been waiting so long to get what we want, we're like, I'm going to just take this. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm not going to move because, this is fine. I can settle for this. This is cool. Like I'm cool right here. Meanwhile, the deepest depths of your heart, you want what's over there. But you're going to settle right here because you're afraid of being disappointed, because you don't want to be rejected, because you're afraid that what was spoken over you and to you is not the truth. This is where we grow our faith. This is where our faith in who we are and who our provider is comes into play. Some of us have been promised homes, but we've settled for apartments. Ouch. I'm talking to myself right now, meaning I have to move. I'm transitioning again, but I don't know in my next location if I'm supposed to have a house, if I'm supposed to have an apartment, because I was told I could have what I want. And I know in my heart I want a specific type of house. But I have to daily keep telling myself that God is my provider, and it can happen. It can come to pass. But do I really believe it? Because my circumstances may not say that I can actually have that. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes our circumstances are saying we can't achieve what we set a goal for. Our circumstances are saying that, yeah, you may not be that good yet. Our circumstances are saying your credit score is not high enough. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough backing. You don't have enough. Your job's not enough. You don't have enough support. There's everything around us telling us we don't have enough to get to where we know that we want to be. And so we're settling. We're cutting corners. We're selling for things left and right. Well, I'm telling you, in this year, in this season, this is not a settling season. We have to push past what has caught our attention and keeping us comfortable, right? If something is keeping you comfortable right here, but you know you're supposed to get something higher, it's time to push, progress, push. We got to push through. And what we're pushing through is mainly our own mindset. And we're pushing through our own self-doubt. And we're pushing through our own unbelief. Sometimes we got to fight a little. And some of us are battle weary. And we're tired of fighting. We don't want to fight. I don't want to fight no more. I know I don't. However, if we're going to achieve it, hold it, maintain it, sustain it, manage it, we got to get in the tussle a little bit and be willing to believe for greater. Be willing to keep going forward for the greater that we've been promised, that we have been looking for, working for. Don't settle. Do not settle. Do not settle. Don't allow what's comfortable to keep you from what's promised. Don't allow what's comfortable to keep you from what's promised. You got to get what you actually desire. And your faith is going to be key, and your persistence and resilience is also part of that. And last but not least, if you stopped, if you settled, if you've been distracted, it's time to reactivate. It's time to reactivate, restart, get it going again. Don't allow what you didn't do in the first quarter of this year to stop you from completing what you can in the remaining parts of this year, because you still got a lot of time. There's still 8 months of this year left. Still 8 months. So I'm going to close out here. And I just, tomorrow's the last day of the challenge. I have been enjoying myself because this has been really a learning, teaching, interesting challenge, right? Every day I've experienced the certain things, right? And it's cool because I believe and I love to see and feel the growth myself. So refocus, readjust, refocus your vision, refocus what you're looking at, refocus on what's the priority for now, refocus on what you need now, readjust your mind, readjust your thoughts about receiving help and getting things done, and then restart and reactivate, get going again. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you all tomorrow. Until the next time, it's Tiffany Rochelle, the behind the scene queen at the Wisdom Fountain, and until the next time, be wise. Peace.